Welcome back. Just going to check to make sure this is in focus. Yep. Okay, so this was the linear lead screw that we saw before downstairs. I printed a little part that it's a friction fit that's 16 millimeters all around. Friction fits onto this nut very tight and has a little tab off for an M3 screw that's going to allow it to float around in the connection. Now I'm going to show you why that needs to float around in a second, because these are Acme rod, and it's really hard to get these things straight. And as such, the coupling is not perfect down here either. And because of that, I don't know if you can see, there's about a millimeter. There's about a millimeter of sway in the middle of this rod here, which I can probably take out if I'm careful, but I can also plan for it to not be a problem. Now, the nut's not moving because it's just spinning with the rod, but the moment you give it something to rest on, like I'm just going to put that piece of plastic there, or maybe I won't. Here we go. The turning a lead screw turns that into linear motion. Now, because it's a screw, it's really strong, so you don't need a terribly big stepper to move a fair amount of mass. But what I'm thinking of doing is only moving one of my L-channel type frames. So I'm just going to get one, disconnect it from the mess over there. So this essentially would get rid of these side rails. This would essentially be connected to something here, moving up and down, and then so it would be like this on the ends to that, and then this here would be replaced with a little bit better, a newer version of this that would hold the hot end here, and then that would be this would be the x-axis. And that's one of my thoughts versus, say, oops, that was connected to something. The much heavier, although very, very, very stiff one of these, and replace this DC with this DC motor here with a stepper. This is quite heavy, even though it does already have its own belt and whatnot. There's a fair amount of slop in this. I don't know if you can see that on the camera. There's a fair amount of slop. This is where the ink cartridge used to sit, and it actually doesn't have too much slop in this direction when properly weighted, but I don't think that would work well yet. I'd have to do a few things. I'd have to add some bearings in the back, but I don't think this would work well yet. It would be better just to harvest this bar and take it straight out. Maybe reuse that belt, but I do have some other timing belts. That is the one possibility there. But this was it running. As you can see, there's an issue with the coupler here. I will have to either build, I guess I'd have to build you can see the flexing now. I have to build a flexible shaft in that coupling, or see why, or see if the actual flex is in the Acme rod, but I do believe it's in this coupling here. Sometimes I can just about get rid of it. But anyhow, I'll just tilt this up where we can see it. I don't know if this is going to focus in for us up here. I think that's focusing for us. Yep. But as you can see, try not to nail the camera with it. That's on there. You can just hear a little bit of clicking, but that's not all coming from that. It's actually the motor at the other end. There, that tiny little bit of click if I pull really hard. That's about all the play there is. As soon as I put a little bit of silicone lubricant on that, it'll be gone. This, if I had something to hold this over here, besides just that little washer type thing, you would see, actually, in theory, it would run just as a sled. Let me just quickly do this. If I had that set up right, it would just run that way anyways. That's why you'll see some printers, they don't constrain the far end. They just let the far end move, and you just hang on to this part here. So you'd mount the motor. But this is where you get your Z wobble from on some printers. So you want, I'm going to stop this here now. So to deal with that, you want a plate that sits on this, but doesn't completely bolt to this. Because if it completely bolts to this, you'll pick up that Z wobble. But I've got plans to fix that too. But anyhow, that's the slightly, call it messy update, and showing this little fellow working on my little test rig over here, which is just an easy driver and an Arduino Mega hooked up to my PC power supply in the back there. Anyhow, if you have any questions or comments, put them down below. If you like this kind of video and my crazy little inventions, don't forget to like and subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching. See you in the next one.